Okay, it's been a while since we've done a football career video, and we're looking at a very controversial player. And that controversial player is Adrian Mutu. Now, when he bursts onto the scene, many in Romania saw him as the successor to Georgi Hagi. Hagi's one of the best players of all time, ever. And I can attest to that. Hagi was a fantastic player at the peak of his powers in the 90s. And Adrian Mutu, as a young player, when he's making his way in the big leagues in Europe, was seen as Romania's natural successor for Hagi. Now, he starts his career in the 1996-97 season at Argeș Piesti in Romania. He plays there 41 times, gets 11 goals, earns a transfer to Dinamo Bucharest. And he's there in 1999. He only plays the 33 games, scores 22 goals, wins the Division A title and the Romanian Cup. And it's with these performances that he earns a transfer to Inter Milan in 2000. Now, at Inter Milan, he only plays the 10 times, which I find amazing. He only scored the one goal. But his brief stint at Inter Milan earns him a move to Hellas Verona in Serie A. Now, with Hellas Verona between 2000 and 2002, plays 57 times, scores 16 goals. So he's a pretty good attacking midfielder or striker. Not like pumping the goals in, but he's got a good goals per game ratio, and he's very good in an attacking, aggressive sense up the pitch. And it's at Hellas Verona that he comes to the attention of Parma. Now, Parma at this time are spending money like it's going out of fashion. And of course, Parma would be involved in the Parmalat scandal, where their financial backers collapse in an industrial scandal in Italy. But Parma at this time is a stacked team. So between 2002 and 2003, he's playing at Parma. He plays 31 times, scores 18 goals, and that earns him a move to the Premier League. And he ends up at Chelsea and the 2003-2004 season. He ends up at Chelsea. Now, his time at Chelsea is controversial. There's a lot of things happening off the field. Now, in his entire time at Chelsea, he plays 27 times, scores 6 goals. So he's there when Ranieri is still the manager. This is when Abramovich first takes over the club. He's there when Ranieri is still the manager. Mourinho comes in very, very quickly. Mourinho and Mutu fall out. But during this fallout between manager and player, he's actually caught by the testers, and he's caught with cocaine in his system, and he's given a 7-month ban. That 7-month ban ends up with a breach of contract legal case, which actually rumbled on from 2005 to 2018. It was finally put to bed in 2018. Unfortunately, he had to pay a fine of £15.2 million, which is the biggest fine in FIFA history that a player has ever received. But he's banned for 7 months. His time at Chelsea is a disaster. Doesn't work out. There was a lot of expectation when Mutu comes to the club from Parma that, he's going to fit in to this Chelsea squad that are going to be doing big things. And obviously this Chelsea team do go on to go and win many things. But he's booted out the squad. His contract is terminated. He tries to sign for Livorno, and according to his profile that I found online, he did sign for Livorno, played no games, no goals, because he's suspended for 7 months. He ends up with a 7-month suspension. Coming out of that suspension, he signs with Juventus in 2005. Now, he plays 33 games at Juventus, scores 7 goals. And this is at a time when Juventus win the Serie A title back-to-back. However, those titles are revoked because of the match-fixing scandal, the Calciopoli scandal in 2006. And as a result of that, Juventus are thrown out of Serie A. He does not want to stick around at Juventus. A lot of players did, but he doesn't want to stick around at Juventus, so he moves on to Fiorentina. Now, he moves on to Fiorentina, signs with Fiorentina in 2006. He's there until 2011. He plays 112 times, scoring 54 goals. This is his most productive. Fiorentina, he's doing quite well at Fiorentina. And then he's banned again for drug misuse. This time it's a substance called sibutramine, which is a weight loss drug that has been discontinued in many countries. And he's using it to basically either increase his metabolism for other nefarious purposes, i.e. cocaine use, or he's trying to lose weight, but he's not doing it and declaring it, and he's banned for this. This is his second drug ban in his career. And this is where he becomes quite controversial, let alone his private life with his relationships, which are also quite colourful and controversial. His playing career is controversial because he's been banned twice for drug use. Now, this sibutramine can be used to speed up your metabolism. And if you are taking illicit substances like cocaine, which can metabolise in your body, it speeds up your metabolism so it flushes you out the system quicker. It can be used as a masking agent. It also is used for weight loss and reducing blood pressure. So there's a debate about why he had it in his system, and he gets a ban for it. And of course, that pretty much ends his time at Fiorentina. He's caught in 2010. It pretty much ends his time as a Fiorentina player. And they move him on, and he ends up at Cesena in Italy in the 2011-2012 season. He only plays the one season there, 28 games, 8 goals, before he decides to leave Italy, where he's actually had most of his career, and he goes over to Ajaccio in France. And he spends 2 years there between 2012 and 2014, plays 37 times, 11 goals. And then he moves on to Petrol Ploesti, back in Romania, where he plays 14 times and scores 4 goals. And then he ends up in India, at Pune City, where he plays 10 times, scores 4 goals, before in 2016 coming back to Romania to play at ASA Targu Mureș, where he just plays the 4 times, no goals. And that's the end of his club career. In total, for club games, he plays a total of 437 games, scores 161 goals. Obviously, he would have played a lot more had he not been banned for failing drugs tests. He would have played a lot more if he hadn't been banned for about a year and a half, I think, in total. I think it was about a year and a half he lost out of his career because of drugs bans. Now, for Romania, he played 77 times, scored 35 goals, but he also got in trouble with the Romanian side at times. He was kicked out of the Romanian squad twice. There was an initial time where he was breached curfew with a teammate and decided to go out partying and drinking and other things. And so the Romanian coaching setup banned him from the squad. Now, that ban lasted 3 games. But then in 2013, he got into a spat with the then national manager, was posting pictures on social media and basically got in a very nasty spat, and then the Romanian FA banned him from the national side and he never played again. That was his national career done. So he's a very controversial character. He's since gone into administration and management in regards to football management, not with much success. There's nothing to write home about there. But it is his time at Chelsea and it is his time at Fiorentina where it's very controversial. Now, his time at Chelsea, when Chelsea and Mourinho drives this and the club drive this, they do him for breach of contract because of his drugs ban and because there was an uncertainty whether he got injured on international duty or not, which is part of the breakdown with his relationship with Jose Mourinho in his second season at Chelsea. But the court case and the Court of Arbitration for Sport get involved. There's several appeals, and it rumbles on. It starts in 2005, and it's finally settled, in 2018. He appealed 3 times for the breach of contract that Chelsea served him with, and then going through the arbitration process with the Court of Arbitration for Sport. That was a ridiculous length of time. It took 13 years in total for all court proceedings to be completed, including 3 appeals. And when he came to Chelsea, there was this much hope that he would really this would be a springboard for him. He had shown some promising signs at Hellas Verona and at Parma. Obviously, he had his breakout year at Dinamo Bucharest in Romania, where he won silverware. And then it just all goes wrong after that. And after that, he becomes very controversial. He leads a very colourful private life, which makes the headlines and creates much discussion back in his native Romania. And in reality, when he gets to Fiorentina, you're thinking his career's recovered, and he's playing his best. And I think that's where he was playing his best, was at Fiorentina. And you're thinking his career's recovering, he's grown up a bit. But no, he gets a second drugs ban for this weight loss drug, which is also can be used as a masking agent because of the way it speeds up your metabolism. And after that, it's just his career. He becomes a journeyman. He played at a lot of clubs, a lot more clubs than I realised. I didn't realise he played for as many clubs as he had. But his stint at Chelsea is well remembered for being a disaster. And again, there was much hope when he came. There was much hype when he came. He was this next big thing. The Romanian media were touting him as, the new Hadji. They were building him up, and then, he basically couldn't control himself off the field, got up to a no good. He was very colourful off the field. A poor man's Diego Maradona, I think, is a good way to look at Adrian Mutu, because there's no doubt he was a very talented player. He played very similar to Hadji, very similar to Maradona. Very talented player, very creative player, could score some fantastic goals, could bring into play with other players, but it was his off-field antics that really derailed his career. So there we go, there's the career of Adrian Mutu. Very controversial player. Place your thoughts on the career of Adrian Mutu in the comments section below. And that breach of contract fine of 15.2 million is the biggest fine in footballing history that a player has ever received, ever. And that's bigger than most, quite a few transfers. That is a significant amount of money. So there we go. Thank you very much for watching. Place your thoughts in the comments section below, and I'll have some more content for you all very, very soon.